One project I want all of you to write is write one quickly on what is trial by jury is. So now, do you know what picture is this? And it's not a secret.
Oui.
What's this?
Yes. Changa.
Your agents. Well done in accepting your first assignment briefing. So this is what a barrister's suite looks like. Hello everyone. Get the Joker. Not to worry, no more Joker after this. Size, Yasha. Brian gets a card. Brian gets a pen. Well done, Brian. Please guys, time starts now. Sleeping, spotting for ELS club.
Bye bye, Miss.
All of you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
So before that, because when I mentioned the word AR, they'll be like, "Hey, what?" They really don't know what is it. And some of them have actually expressed that, what if I use AR, it would be a failure. Hi, my name is Putri Sofia Amiruddin. I'm a law lecturer and also program director for Master of Laws program. That's a funny story. It started off from me overhearing my colleagues' conversation. It was Kelly T and also Dr. Jason Turner in my small cubicle. So they were talking about AR learning, whether or not it can be implemented to university students. So that's where I got curious. I asked more questions to Kelly and also Dr. Jason. So when they explained, so that's why I thought, okay, maybe I should give it a try. Because land law is known to be one of the driest, technical, complicated module for year 2 students. So that's why I thought it's time to try different thing. So basically, I did my own research on which AR application that is user friendly. So I came across a few. So I chose Layar application. My biggest lesson is never give up, because whatever things that I try to introduce, I will face resistance from my students, and a lot of people also, they are not confident with the new technology, new pedagogy that I'm introducing, because you will never know until you have actually tried it. So as of March 2018, I introduced new concept in teaching, whereby I introduced neuro-linguistic programming into legal skills and methods module. So from there, I encourage students to incorporate NLP skills so that they become more observant. Ever since I won the AMAS award last year, so I received a lot of inquiries on how to use AR. They are more than free to come and knock on my door again and then ask questions, so I'll be more than happy to teach them. So I try to challenge myself. Last year, I joined International University Carnival on e-learning. From there, I introduced my innovation. I received silver medal. As of this year, I joined again and I incorporate neuro-linguistic programming together with augmented reality, because it's a totally new thing and nobody knows what I'm doing. But I have evidence that it's actually good for students. So from there, I received a gold medal. So my next project, hopefully, I'm trying to introduce learning law using virtual technology. So it will be interesting for students to make use of VR in learning law. So hopefully by January, I can start doing everything and can launch it in August 2019.
You can be a hacker and you can be an authorized hacker. There are certification, there are courses to teach you how to be an ethical hacker.
不见得说啊，我现在去学了这个编程，我接下来就一定要做 developer， 这个肯定不是的。
If you understand what people want and how you get what you give what people want, and you have your programming skills, then basically you're an all-rounder.
Warrior is my creation. I created him, and it was in inspiration of Goku and Mario.
Barbie is one of my sister's favorite dolls. I want to put Barbie into my project, so my sister Flora will enjoy watching my project.
Coding, it's the language of the future.
One word for all of you to write is write one word quickly on what is trial by jury. Gamification is. So now, do you know what picture is this? And it's not a secret.
Oui.
What's this?
Yes. 香港
You're agents. Well done in accepting your first assignment briefing. So this is what a barrister's wit looks like. Hello everyone. Get the Joker. Not to worry, no more Joker after this. Size, Sofia, Brian gets a card. Brian gets a 10. Well done, Brian. Speakers, time starts now. -1 minute. 14 for PLS club.
Bye bye, Miss.
All of you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. One word for all of you to write is write one word quickly on what is trial by jury. Gamification is. So now, do you know what picture is this? And it's not a secret.
Oui.
What's this?
Yes. 香港
You're agents. Well done in accepting your first assignment briefing. So this is what a barrister's wit looks like. Hello everyone. Get the Joker. Not to worry, no more Joker after this. Size, Sofia, Brian gets a card. Brian gets a 10. Well done, Brian. Speakers, time starts now. -1 minute. 14 for PLS club.
Bye bye, Miss.
All of you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Miss.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
So before that, because when I mentioned the word AR, they'll be like, what? They really don't know what is it. And some of them have actually expressed that what if I use AR, it would be a failure. Hi, my name is Sofia. I'm a law lecturer and also program.
Alright, everyone, welcome to our Law is Not Boring webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. We will let me set something up to make sure that the Facebook site is also streaming the webinar as well. I think everything is working. Okay, so again, thank you very much for joining. And for those who don't know me, my name is I'm Teacher Teo. So I teach coding for kids, as if you saw some of the videos just now. And so today I will be the host for this event. Today we will take about close to 50 minutes to 60 minutes, 1 hour for this entire webinar. Now, before I pass on to our guests today, I would like to mention a few things. Firstly, thank you very much again for joining joining this webinar using Zoom, because for those who are in here, you have exclusive free gift, which is 30 ringgit. Instead of 25 ringgits, there are 30 ringgits. It's a bit blur, right? I think the screen sharing. Let me just check if I can improve it. Yeah, I think this is better. All right, so 2 Starbucks gift card, each of them worth 30 ringgit. So we will be giving this out for all the attendees who have registered to this webinar through Zoom. And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that through some sort of lucky draw. I will show you very quickly. It will be something like this, right? As long as you register, your name will be here, and we will do a bit of lucky draw at the end of the session. And if your name is being selected, you will get the gift card. Okay, so for example, this is just an example, right? This is an example to show you. So later on after the session, before we end this webinar, we will do this lucky draw 2 times. Yeah, so for those who are watching from Facebook Live, do join our Zoom here, so that you can win this exclusive gift card that's sponsored by MMS, one of our partners for this webinar. So let me just go back to the slide again. I must highlight that our thank you very much to our sponsors, who Miss Yong In Hui, as well as Esther, both of them from MMS, is also in this webinar as well. Thank you very much for that. Now, so that is the gift exclusive for Zoom. Now, for those who are joining from the Facebook Live, we have something for you as well. Not Starbucks card, but we have some gift as well, where you have the flask and umbrella, premium flask and umbrella that's sponsored by MMS. Again, thank you very much for that, as well as I'm also giving out a laptop bag, whoever that needs that. But there you need to do something in order to win this. So in the live, make sure you tag as many people as you can, as shown in the slide here. Tag as many people as you can, so that the top 3, yeah, whoever that tag the most, first, second, and third, will get the 3 prizes here. So for those who are joining from Facebook Live, you can win this. Otherwise, you can also join our Zoom here. The registration link is www.realfund.com.my, where you can go there and register for the event and join immediately in here. Because if I pick your name and you are not in this Zoom, you are not here to say, yeah, I win, then unfortunately we have to pick a new name. Yeah, so that's how it works for our lucky draw later on. So hopefully all of you can get something and also learn something new from this webinar. Now, today I'm very glad that I'm able to invite a senior law lecturer and program director from Taylor's University Lakeside campus, Miss Putri Sofia Amiruddin. She is admitted to Malaysian Bar in 2012, and then I think she is quite passionate in education, and then move into the education field. But what is very interesting here to me is that the way she teach law using gamification, using augmented reality, because I think we always have to find personally, I'm an educator as well. We always have to find things to keep the students engaged and make sure that they can learn through fun and a different way, because I believe that that's more effective. So she have received a lot of award, and one particular highlight here is the highest award that's conferred by the president of Taylor's University, the President Award for transformative teaching and learning. And like I said, very glad that I can invite her, because she has actually presented in a lot of countries and also featured in various newspapers as well. So I think without further ado, I will then now pass over to Miss Sofia to go on to the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yuan Teh. All right, so thank you so much to all the participants who are here today, especially spending your Friday evening to hear more about how I teach law using augmented reality as well as gamification. So I really do appreciate your time. So what will I be doing now is that I'll be sharing my slides and hopefully can entice all of you to either pursue coding as part of your careers or embark into studying law, as well as introduce elements of coding in the legal profession as well. So thank you so much for joining this particular session on Law is Not Boring. So I have been teaching at Taylor's University for the last 6 years, and I've always been assigned to teach a very challenging module, for example, the module of English Land Law, especially to Year 2 students who have no assets or who have never taken out a mortgage to purchase a house, so they have no idea what land law is. So for me as a lecturer, in order for me to teach English land law, it can be very challenging for students. So that's the reason why I introduced augmented reality as well as gamification. So in order to assess the effectiveness on how I teach AR as well as gamification, I've done a lot of research and I get a lot of feedback in order to assess the data, and hence findings have shown not only gamification and augmented reality can be considered as interesting, but it does enhance student skills in terms of learning and collaboration as well. So I have made various publications to highlight, especially to parents as well as lawyers, that learning law using AR or gamification is not just a gimmick. So students can gain various skills when it comes to learning law using other methods as well. So I'm also a contributor in Marketing in Asia platform as well. Apart from teaching law, I like to share insights as well as my observation, how I manage the team, how I deal with students on this platform, so that students who follow myself would able to get ideas of what working life itself, so that they will have a broader understanding on what is expected to them when they have graduated and achieved their degree. So I've also been featured in blogs as well as newsletters as well as newspaper with regard how exactly law lecturers or any lecturers in any discipline can adopt gamification and also AR. So I have been advocating that teaching can just go beyond writing on a whiteboard, can just go beyond and rely on Microsoft PowerPoint to make learning to be more interesting as well engaging for the students. So prior to the pandemic, when I teach law modules, I always assess the effectiveness on how I deliver my lesson. So I've conducted survey and tried to get feedback from all Taylor's law school students at Taylor's University. So from their feedback, so I'm able to assess that even though they are studying law at a university, they don't necessarily feel that they are fully equipped with the relevant skills just by learning law at a university. This is particularly because they would feel that they can gain more skills if they work in a law firm or if they work in an organization. Because if they have experience working in the real world, so that's where they will feel they will be able to appreciate in terms of what they learn law, as well as how to deal with partners, employers, as well as clients in the law firm itself. So I've also assessed students' perspective with regards to their management skills, how they manage their studies, with regards to their communication skills, thinking skills, or the rest of the leadership skills, as well as improve team working skills as well. Because when we study in any discipline, it's not necessarily that we know that particular knowledge. It's not necessarily just to pass a particular exam, but we also must be a holistic learner, where we must acquire all of these skills, where we can learn individually, we can work in groups, we are able to present effectively in any language, as well as we can lead a particular team. So based on students' perception, most of the students say that they are able to gain all of these skills, but of course, we must also take into account students who are unsure whether or not they have fully acquired all of these skills, because we can't just focus on helping the students who are already at their best level. We must make sure that all students equally achieve the same level of skills as well. So that's the reason why I've embedded augmented reality learning, because for my class, learning law doesn't take place in the classroom. So I'll make sure that they actually will go outside the classroom, approach members of the public or approach strangers, so that they will have that sense of reality when it comes to doing law itself. So this is a video that I'll be showing on how students learn law outside the classroom using augmented reality.
So now I will review the answer to the movies.
Terminal land and the solar land are held by different people.
Created after 13 October.
Good. I'd like to thank Ms. Putri for creating such an amazing race. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
So if you can see, that's how actually students learn law, having experience the augmented reality features in order to learn by themselves, as well as educate the members of the public on what they have actually learned. So based on this technique where I teach law, So I had the opportunity to be a visiting scholar at University of Reading as well as University of Leeds earlier this year in January, where I have shared my teaching practices in terms of using AR to the law students. So I received a lot of feedback, and in fact, they have said that I am more brave as compared to the academics abroad, because I would like to challenge students to really go outside their comfort zone for them to approach the public itself. But then came along the pandemic. So I'm unable to use augmented reality outside the classroom because all of us are confined to our homes. So then I quickly collaborated with other lecturers from other faculties who are experts in coding. That's where they have assisted me to develop a special mobile application so that students can also experience augmented reality and also gamification in learning law. So this is a snippet on how they are able to do that.
Guys, can you advise me on my situation? I want to take this matter to court.
So as you can see, students, even though they are homebound, they also have their level of motivation increase, because not only they can just required to read from the textbook as well as memorize the law, but they are able to experience learning law as if they are playing games in order to advise the particular clients in the scenario video itself. So as you can see, when students attempt this kind of activities, it shows that augmented reality technique goes beyond than just making law to be fun or enjoyable. Instead, it encourages students to think on their feet, especially when the answer is not there. It provides avenue for students for collaboration, especially when they work outside the classroom on their feet. They are given 1 hour and a half to complete that particular activities. So you can see how students are being composed as well as collaborate under pressure. Students are also assessed with their abilities to feel empathized with each other, to provide moral support, because as we all know, students, they come from various backgrounds. We have some students who are very vocal. We have some students who are reserved, prefer to keep to himself or themselves. But from these activities, we can see how students work together to ensure that each and everyone team members would benefit from this particular activity itself. So students not only able to demonstrate leadership skills, but they can also challenge themselves to think critically in order to attempt the particular issue, as well as creatively. Because when they realize that the lecturer in front of them is being creative, so then they know they have that room, they are provided with the opportunities to be creative as well. So I also would like to share, because I understand students that come to study law, most of them do not like to interact with people, do not like mathematics, they just like to read books and memorize. So this is where I introduce neuro-linguistic programming. This is an example of NLP. So I do that outside the classroom because I want to see how students actually shake hands with other people, how students move their shoulders, how students sustain eye contact, how students raise up their body posture, move their hands. So these are all part of the NLP techniques, because if they are able to be composed as well as make proper delivery of communication, that's where they're able to persuade not only their colleagues, not only the lecturers, not only the examiners, but in the future they are also able to persuade their clients as well. Because if we look at the statistics or data provided in the World Economic Forum website, they have shown that the skills which will be required in the future in 2025 will not be the same skills that we want students to have now. So it's no more on students being able to be meticulous, no more students are able to work in silos, but it involves beyond analytical skills. It requires creative thinking, problem solving. So as you can see, I've demonstrated on the box there at the left side of the columns. So there are various future skills are required by the future employers. So it's good if we embed new pedagogies to teach students so that students will become holistic learner when they graduated. So this is the interesting part where I utilize gamification to teach law. It has nothing to do with playing games per se, but I've embedded gaming techniques, gaming elements into the land law module. So I'll just show you an example how gamification works for my class.
For land law 1 tutorial, a virtual land law store. So this is where you can accumulate as many points as possible. Underground shelter, integrated kitchen, you have find keepers, gold points, pet rabbit,
The one that you said it's like invalid these days.
and also Kasha, you'll get 12. So in the fourth paragraph, what will be writing? So you want to use your lifeline. Oh, didn't you? 10 points will be deducted. Who would like to unmute themselves?
Maybe I try. I want to earn back my 10 points. Yeah.
Okay, Jordan, would you like to get back your points?
I think orchids as well.
Okay, so these are items considered as gentles to proceed. Feel free to ask, otherwise I'll see all of you again on Monday. And thank you so much everyone for your participation. Thank you.
So gamification would encourage collaboration among students where they would want to participate in the classroom as opposed to waiting for the lecturer or myself to provide answer. Because all students know in my class, I do not provide any answer at all. So I will get them to share their thoughts. And then after that, I'll just repeat what they have shared and provide explanation whether or not that particular explanation or that provided by the student relates back to the issues at hand. So it's good to gamify how we learn law itself, because when student feels that they're getting points, so they will become more motivated. They want to challenge themselves to build their confidence level in order to accumulate as many points as possible. So this is good because moving forward, when they embark on the future world of work, they will be more proactive, more enthusiastic in terms of handling case briefs or doing any particular task, because at university they have been trained in order to try to get more points in order to achieve or complete a particular issue at hand. So a successful gamification, I would say, composed of 4 freedoms of play. Just like how we play video games, we try to collect gold coins, so we try to get as many points. Same goes as gamification. So encourage freedom to fail, because even though students provide wrong answer, I would say that it's okay because you have shared your thoughts, but try again. So they always have the opportunity to provide more thoughts, more opinions. They also have the freedom to experiment, go outside, and then try to be more creative in terms of creating their video presentation. They can assume different identities. If you have seen a snippet earlier before the starting of a session, where I will provide a legal assignment in a role of secret agent, so students will take that role very seriously in order to answer their assignment question. And also it incorporates freedom of effort, because students will just go beyond doing research or writing their answer, they will put a lot of elements of creativity, teamwork to make sure that the whole group feel proud as well as the examiner to feel proud of their effort as well. So I'll show you an example of what do I mean when students can assume a different identity.
Dear agents, congratulations for passing through various stages of security to reach at this particular phase. You have previously viewed scenario video pertaining to the area. You are required to work with groups, either group 5 or 6. And in each group, you are required to record a video presentation. And thereafter, embed the recorded video on the poster in order to give an augmented reality effect. Further information are provided in the assignment brief, which have already been uploaded on time. Good luck, agents. I look forward to receiving the augmented reality poster presentation.
So if you can see that if a lecturer can assume different role in terms of how he or she delivers the assignment question, student will also assume that similar role in order to provide answer using that similar spy or secret agent role in attempting the answer. So I like to provide opportunities for students to, because all teachers will try to make students go outside their comfort zone, to think outside the box, but usually the box is always the same box. The way how they think tends to be the same. So when I change the technique or the strategy altogether, that's where I realized that law student is capable more than just reading law, is capable more than just writing essays, but they can do video editing, video recording, they can approach strangers, they can record in the mall, they can do so many things if we provide a proper avenue for them as well. So with that, I end this session because the best way to predict the future, especially the future in the legal industry, is for us ourselves to create it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Sophia. This is indeed very, very interesting. In fact, one of the first question that I have in mind for you is that how did you manage to get all of these students to turn on their camera?
Okay, I suppose, right, because during the first day itself, I would encourage students to switch on their camera, because I would mention that we all miss each other. So it's good if not only we're able to see each other, but we can feel the presence of each other so that all of us will feel motivated to learn. And I also feel motivated to teach. So then they know that's the way I teach. So when I say let's switch on the camera, everyone will switch on the camera.
Okay. Oh, that's very good, because I have been trying very, very hard to get my students to turn on their camera.
You can give it a try. On the first day itself, we can mention that one of the requirements, one of the learning technique would require students to turn on the video cameras. So when they know in advance that you require to turn on their cameras, so in the future, they'll always be prepared to turn on their camera.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that you have all this different videos, different sort of I would say one of it that you show is right after when the lockdown happened, and you got different lecturer to help you to create an app. Like it, I would imagine that the effort required to do all this is tremendous. And how did you overcome that? I mean, editing a video itself and do all this recording on top of that, incorporating all this pedagogy that you already have and change it slightly. So how did you cope with that effort?
So I would say that it all comes within you yourself. If you have the desire to change the techniques on how you teach, it will come naturally. Of course, it requires dedication and effort as well, because slowly in the beginning, when I introduce anything, it takes a lot of time, probably like 2-3 hours in the beginning. And then following the next semester, it will be much easier because the materials are already there. So it gets easier by the day. So I would encourage all teachers out there, just put a little bit of effort in the beginning, because when you start keep using it again, then it becomes much more easier.
But on the other hand, I would think that students may feel bored seeing the same materials. But again, every year we're dealing with different set of students, I guess, right?
Correct. So if you have different set of students, so you can reuse the material. But if you be teaching the same students, of course, you are also encouraged to use your own creativity to keep changing the techniques as well.
Yeah. So we have
collaboration comes in, because sometimes I also run out of ideas, so I'll get in touch with other lecturers so that they also can support and then share their ideas on what other materials I can introduce.
Yeah, indeed, collaboration is very important to perhaps even bounce some ideas and yeah, I think that's a good idea. All right, so we have one question from Facebook side. Lawyers are traditionally cautious and trend behind other disciplines in the acceptance of technology. You are being commended for your brave and innovative approach in technology. Oh, okay, it's a comment, it's not a question. But yeah, but I think on this note itself, and you mentioned that I'm wondering within the law industry itself, how digitized is that?
I wouldn't say all lawyers are traditional or all lawyers resist the use of new technologies, because I've also attended conferences as well as seminars. We have quite a number of lawyers also taking that first step to try introduce legal technology in terms of how they practice law. We also have some lawyers who take up additional certificates to learn coding, computer programming. So I suppose with the additional knowledge that they have, they can also introduce it in the law firms to ease in terms of how they deal with financing, or perhaps how they deal with clients. There is a way in terms of in the future, there is a rule for lawyers to be innovative. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But if we can see one lawyer who also brave enough to introduce and then share his or her technique on how they introduce legal technology, it will have a domino effect. So it will slowly encourage other lawyers to go outside their comfort zone as well.
Okay, but does it mean that the lawyers themselves have to know, all this technology to be able to bring in all these innovative ways of doing things, and learning how to code, learning how to program, or all different, right?
I received a similar question like that as well. Someone asked me if I should learn coding, if I should learn software programming. I suppose lawyers, because they already master or specialize in a particular area of law, I would say they can just focus on that, but they can engage external parties who are expert in coding or computer science or programming to develop something that will help how lawyers work. Because we do not want lawyers to spend a lot of time learning something new, but it will take more years for them to become an expert, whereas they are already an expert in their particular field. So that's good if lawyers can collaborate or engage anyone that specializes in legal technology, so that it will be a win-win situation for both parties.
I think one of the thing that I think will be good as well, both from a technical side, the programmer, the software programmer, is for them to learn the domain knowledge. Well, in this particular case, within the law industry itself, whereas on the lawyers themselves, or within the law industry itself, is to also understand better on how technology works. So I think that will definitely bridge the gap between technology and non-technology side, and have a better solution in terms of digitization.
Correct. Because I know a lot of people specializing in IT, they would like to help lawyers to develop something. Is it that they don't know what area of law,
Exactly.
which gap to tap into? So that's where the lawyer comes in and then supply the relevant information. So lawyers do not actually need to learn programming, but it's good if they know who to get in touch, so that it will ease their to do work, as well as allow the public to have more easy access to justice as well.
I have one comment here. I'm not too sure whether is this a question or not. What if we become lawyer and we accidentally laugh? So I'm still trying to think what is that question.
Sure, sure how to answer that. But we can laugh all we want. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but not in court, I would say.
Not in court. Yeah. All right. So, guys, feel free to unmute if you have any questions, or you can put your questions in the comment box itself. And let me check. Do we have any other questions from a Facebook site, Sharon? No. Okay. All right. So, what's the thought process on how you come up and create a game for a hard topic? Because the scenarios you create for your students seems quite interesting. They look like a lot like spy movie and Amazing Race game. Well, where did you get your inspiration from?
Usually, whenever I watch Netflix or a movie, and then from that movie itself, due to the storyline or for some reason, the idea will just spark. Same goes when I'm driving cars stuck in the traffic jam, the idea will just come in. So when I receive any idea, so it will take me, if I go back home, it will just take me about 2-3 hours to design it and then implement it in my next class. So I suppose when you have that desire to be creative, the idea will just come in at any time randomly. So then this is where you can start introduce more interesting things for your class, especially for the hard topics.
Okay. All right. So I guess traffic jam is something, a good thing in disguise. It's something in disguise also lah. It's a time for you to reflect and think.
Correct. I would say yes.
Okay. Any more questions, guys? Let me see. Yeah, I think that's about it. So while waiting, you all to send in the questions, I just want to show this slide for our lucky draw later. Now, for those who are in Zoom, can you check whether your name is in there? All right. If your name is not in there, do let me know so that I can include it. So that you get a chance to win the prize later on, which is the 30 ringgit Starbucks, 2 of them. Yeah, so check your name whether it's there, and for those who still want to ask questions, feel free to drop it in the chat box so that we can follow up from there. Yeah, there's one question. What kind of personality or strength should the law students have?
So thank you for that question. I would say with regards to student personality, when I teach law, there are a lot of characteristics or different types of personality that I encounter with students, especially when the classroom is as big as 100 students. So it varies from students who are very vocal, it varies from students who are reserved, it varies from international students or students who are not confident in speaking English language. So I wouldn't say that there's one particular type of students. We have good number of students from different backgrounds. But what I love about teaching law students, particularly at Taylor's, is that they are very understanding towards each other's strengths and weaknesses, but they are also willing to support each other. So this is what I observe from my students. So even though one particular student cannot speak English that much, they will work together to ensure that that student will be able to deliver his or her presentation effectively as well. So I hope I answered the question.
I think definitely collaboration is very important.
Correct. I agree.
Okay, there's another question. How do you tackle any technical challenge? I guess is when it comes to you gamifying some of this materials. Do you have a team to consult? How do you overcome it? I mean, sometimes when it comes to things that like I have no control over it, like I want to do that, I want to fix this, but I don't know how. I have to wait for somebody else to do it. So I guess how do you feel about it?
must have experienced some kind of technical issue, especially during the MCO period. During that time, because a lot of people will ask a lot of questions to the ICT department at Taylor's, and they are overwhelmed with a lot of inquiries. So when it comes to being patient, sometimes I can be a little bit of impatient. So that's where usually before I implement something, I'll do a trial run by myself at home, and then I'll just make sure everything is working in order. If not, then I'll try to figure out what's the issue, and I'll try to find my own solution as well by googling, how to deal with this. So I would say Google is the best platform to search for the answer. But otherwise, you can call up your friend or colleague, or the person that close to you, to seek support. And lastly, if you really need help, it's good if you have a specialized ICT department who can be an assistance to you as well. But to me, I just Google everything.
Indeed, Google is the best friend, our best friend. You can get a lot of answer from Google. Okay, so any more questions? If no, then also did I miss out any did I miss out any other names that are already in here in Zoom? So if not, then I will turn the wheel. So let's say if the person who got this is not in Zoom, then we will redraw. Yeah. So whoever that's in here will be will take priority for those who are not in here lah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So are we ready? Let's gamify this webinar. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, let's start. Oops, no, use the wrong screen. Claudia Emma, are you in here? If you are, do shout out in the chat, which I think you are not here.
Okay.
Which I think you're not here. Just double check. Not here, yeah? So I'll remove your name. Let's move on to the next one. I think you are here. Congratulations, Madam Sim. You are here. Congratulations, you got the first Starbucks card. So I will let you know how you can pick that up later on. All right. Okay, so let's do another one. So close, no, Ashira. Jennifer Leo, are you here? Okay, you're not here. Okay, remove. Alithia Subil, are you here? Oh, you are here. Can you put the... Yes, good. You're here, right. So, can you, do you mind to drop me a WhatsApp message later on so that we can get contact with you on how we can give you the gift card, okay? So, good. So, that is for the Starbucks gift card. The next will be on the Facebook site. Oops. What I want to share. All right. So from the Facebook side, thank you very much, Mei Lim and No Ashira, as well as Sharon Tan, for tagging so many people. Yeah. I hope this really this webinar itself also benefit yourself and learning. You know how different is it nowadays in terms of teaching. You know, we have to come up with different kind of pedagogy to entice and to engage with the students and to make sure that the learning It's not dull, it's not dull, it's not dry, but it can be fun, right? It can be fun, and the best way to learn things is, you know, fun, and definitely I think you can memorize it more better. So for those Melim, Noor, Ashira, and Sharon, do please send us a WhatsApp message and then we can contact to see how we can collect the gift or send the gift over. Yeah. So before I end the session, again, thank you very much for sharing with us, Miss Sofia, on your amazing journey in how you actually gamify the teaching of law subject itself, and I really appreciate a teacher, a lecturer like you, who really take that extra mile and challenge the norm and do things differently. I think that really makes a difference to the students themselves. I believe the students will also memorize it, or will.
One thing that's really nice of you.
I think the students would definitely I think it's very it's a very good memory for them. Even when they grow up, they can definitely remember your name in terms of how you actually do things, teach them differently compared to other lecturer. So so good, thank you very much. And for those who join in Zoom as well as Facebook Live, I hope you learned something from here. And if you have any question, I think you can. I think Miss Sofia has also shared her LinkedIn profile there. Otherwise, we can put it in a comment later on, you know, for those who would like to connect with her. And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much, and I hope all of you enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Miss Sofia.
Thank you.